Hi guys, this is Beekeeper Charlotte from CarolinaHoneybees.com. I'm in the bee yard today and it's hot as heck, but I wanted to make a really quick video to make a point. I'm harvesting honey today. I need to get this wildflower honey in before the sourwood really starts blooming and the bees start bringing that in. This is a queen excluder if you are new to the beekeeping world. Its use is something beekeepers love to argue about. Some people say that you will get less honey if you have a queen excluder on your hive. And other people say, no, that's not true. I don't know what the truth is, but I do know what happens when I don't use one. This excluder, the proper place for it is under any box that you are going to harvest honey for human consumption. So the bees would have to come up from their nest and their food storage through these little wires and then store honey in the top for you. Now the purpose is to keep the queen, who has a little larger thorax or middle section of her body, keep her from getting up here in our honey supers and laying eggs and having brood up there. Well, I kind of sit on both sides of the fence. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. If I use it and I don't seem to get as much honey, I complain to myself and say, well, I shouldn't have put that excluder on there. But then when I don't use them, sometimes this is what happens. The colony had one deep body and it had a super for brood and food. And the queen has come up and laid drone eggs in this frame. Now, the problem here is should be honey for me. But because it's got brood in it, I'll just probably freeze it and save it for the bees at a later time. But this can get very expensive. If the queen comes and lays a big arc up in here, you know, that can destroy your whole honey harvest. So what I do when this happens is I do try to at least make use of the opportunity, turn it into a learning opportunity. And I wish I had my uncapping fork with me, but I do not. You can use your hive tool, but what I like to do is to scrape this brood out. And I know that seems cruel, but you know, beekeeping is farming. And farming is not always about cute little baby animals. You know, sometimes you have to do things that are not as popular. The reason that I'm doing this also, it gives me an opportunity to look for mites. Mites prefer drone brood. So if I go through here doing this and I see little red crawling mites, not just one or two, but I mean a good many, then I know this colony's in trouble. I would be very concerned. I probably would not put a honey collection super on there. But thankfully, I am not seeing any mites. That doesn't mean my colony doesn't have mites, but I feel pretty good that there's probably not a heavy infestation. So I will scrape this off and I'll get it up in a little bit. And I'll have to save this frame for the bees because, you know, it is just wrong to put something like that in with our regular honey. And see there, I've got a little bit too. So here's another situation where I wish I'd put the queen excluder on. When I put my honey super on, the bees had a full super of honey. So sometimes the queen won't cross that, but not always.